Hello future CS, welcome back to my channel again. So in this video I am sharing a crisp summary of the ICAI BoS webinar for CA Inter, Corporate and Other Laws. So I will be covering the key exam points, how to attempt the paper, the right approach to the MCQs, application oriented question as well as direct theory question, all focused on helping you score better with smart presentation and clarity. So let's get started. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe so that you do not miss out on the important exam related updates and strategies. So guys, when you visit my channel, do check out the playlist section. You will find several curated playlists for the CA Inter exam. Make sure to explore them and watch the videos in order to get maximum benefit from each of the topics. So first, some key exam points were discussed in the webinar. So the first important point is the amendments up to 30th June 2025 are applicable for your exams. So you have to study all the amendments made till this date. And also these amendments are mentioned in the revision test paper. So you can go through it. The next point mentioned was the MCQ which will be given in the exam will be application and analysis based. So please go through the case scenario booklet. In case scenario booklet almost 30 plus MCQs are there. So you can revise that. This is also available on the BOS knowledge portal itself. Next, some students had query whether it's compulsory to write the section number and subsection number. So actually writing the subsection number is not compulsory, even the section number also for that matter. So if you do not remember the correct section number, then you can start your answer as per the provisions of the Companies Act, and then you can just continue your answer. Do not quote the wrong section number or subsection number, because if you quote wrong numbers, then it might lead to loss of marks. So if you remember the correct section number, only then quote it. And one more suggestion given was, it is better to take calculator for this law paper also. Of course, this is a theory based paper itself, but some question might involve some calculation, such as CSR computations, share capital calculation, dividend calculation, and similar other calculations. So even in FEMA, there might be certain questions, especially from the share capital chapter. So including calculations like determining limits for a private company, that is 200 members limits. So always carry your calculator as well for law paper. And the next important point discussed in the webinar was regarding making assumptions while answering the question. So many a times you might come across a question that appears incomplete, or it might be open to more than one interpretation. So in such cases, your answer may vary depending on how you interpret the facts. So if this happens, you should clearly state a valid assumption that is strictly within the framework of the law, and then answer the question based on that assumption. However, you have to be very careful. Do not make assumptions just because you feel like it. So any assumption you make must be legally valid, and it must not be hypothetical or imaginary. And also make assumption only when there is a genuine need for it. And when there is ambiguity in the question, only that time you have to make assumption. So unnecessary or incorrect assumption can also lead to loss of marks. So in many questions, the facts are already given clearly. Still, it was noticed that students introduced some assumption in their answer, which was actually not needed. So in this case, students lost the mark. So in cases where the facts are already given in the question, in that cases do not make any assumptions. And one more reason for loss of mark is, most of the times it was noticed that student resorted to giving generalized answer without capturing the exact provision. So this should be avoided. And then the answer should be written in legible English language, and use of shorthand notes or diagrams should be avoided. And also avoid using short form, WhatsApp language or SMS language while answering the question. Next, some students had doubt if abbreviations can be used in the answer. So, if abbreviations are to be used, first define the abbreviation and only then use the short form thereafter. For example, if the term one-person company is used frequently in your answer, so when you are writing first time, write it full, one-person company, and in the bracket you write as OPC. Thereafter you can use OPC throughout your answer. And one more suggestion given was, it is important to write all the subparts at one place. So suppose you are answering question number 2 and this has 3 subparts A, B and C. And you know the answer of subpart A and C, but you do not know the answer to subpart B. So what you can do is first answer subpart A, then answer C and leave a page for subpart B. However, it is better to write all the subparts at one place itself. And then start every subpart and start every question in a new page. So this will create a good impression in the eyes of the examiner also. And it will make your paper examiner friendly for correction. And one more suggestion given was, it is better to underline the keywords in your answers. Next, some tips were given on how to attempt the paper. So we have 3 parts, actually 2 parts. One is MCQ and descriptive. And in descriptive there will be 2 types of question, application oriented and direct theory. So first discussion was about how to answer the MCQ. So in the MCQ, options are framed in such a way that you must have a strong understanding of the relevant provision and be able to apply them correctly in the given case to choose the correct answer. So MCQ has 4 options and the options are often very close to each other. Therefore, you must select the appropriate answer, not just the partially correct one. And sometimes case scenario based MCQ also will be there. So in that case, read the scenario carefully. And the MCQs are derived from the facts of the scenario itself. Hence, each question should be answered strictly in line with the given case. So if there is case scenario based MCQ, first read the case scenario thoroughly and then read the MCQ and then see as to from which para of the case scenario the MCQ belongs, and also try to remember the provision based on which the MCQ is given, and then you have to correlate those facts and then you have to derive at one answer, because in MCQ only one answer will be right, which you have to mark in the OMR sheet. Now, as I said, in description based question, there will be 2 types of question. One is application oriented question. So in application oriented question means a small fact will be given. So while answering application based question, it is better to follow these steps, because as there is stepwise marking, you will get mark for each step. So first read that small fact, then try to remember which act it belongs to, and first name the act, write the name of the act. Then write the facts of the case briefly. However, do not repeat the entire question, and then try to remember the legal provision which it relates to and mention the relevant legal provision. After that, you will have to analyze and correlate the provision to the facts and write a para on that. And then you have to give the relevant conclusion. This is very important. Conclusion part is very important in this application oriented question. And also, suppose if your conclusion is wrong, however the other steps if you have written correct, you will get marks for that. So it's better to follow this stepwise writing the answer. That is, step 1, write the name of the act. Step number 2, mention the facts of the case. Step number 3, write the relevant legal provisions. Then step number 4, analyze it and correlate the provisions with the facts in the question. Then step number 5, give the appropriate conclusion. So even if one step is wrong, you will lose mark only for that step, and for the other step you will still get the marks. Next, suggestions were given for answering the direct theory question. So for direct theory question, you have to write with heading and then highlight the main points with descriptions. And you can also write the answers such as bullet points with headings also. and explain with the help of example wherever possible. And break the answers into brief points or paragraphs. So this is how you should approach the direct theory questions. So that's a quick and practical summary of the ICAI BoS webinar for the CA Inter Corporate and Other Law. So if you found this exam oriented tips helpful, make sure to like the video and also share with your friends who are writing the CA Inter exam. And subscribe to my channel for more such focused guidance videos. All the best for your exam. Study smart and write with confidence. I will see you all in the next video.